What up, guys? Welcome to another lifting session. We are going to do some lower body today. We're going to start with some power work. So I'm going to do Olympic stuff. I'm going to do some power cleans, using the thick bar again, and superset with some other power movement, whether it's jumping or maybe some med ball slams. I haven't played around with that in a while. Then we'll do some squatting with some yoke carries and some heavy dumbbell push press. I've been loving doing that. And then lunges, single leg RDLs, some sort of core work. It's going to be a great session. Just heavy lifting, conditioning. It's awesome. Let's get after it. Had to go tape my finger again. I've been talking about this a lot in these videos. This finger's jacked up. It's awful. So we're gonna do power cleans, sets of 3 at a challenging weight with a thick bar. I'm gonna do lateral med ball tosses, so toss, like lateral med ball slams. Probably 6 to 8 per side. I don't wanna lose my power, so I'm not gonna make it too much conditioning. And then probably just some seated box jumps, so like off the bench onto a high box, put the vest on. We'll go through that 3 or 4 times. Nothing crazy, I say that, but it always ends up being harder than it needs to be. And then we'll move into the strength piece. One thing I'm noticing with this right here is I cannot hook grip. So it's becoming really challenging to go super heavy, but you can take the obstacles away mentality if we're gonna get philosophical and be like, okay, well, it's gonna challenge just my normal grip, which is a limiter anyways, which means I'm gonna get stronger pulling this weight from the ground. My legs and hips are already strong enough. It's usually the upper body and the grip that's the limiter, so it could actually be an advantage. One thing I try to focus on when I'm lifting is, and I hope you guys can hear me, but what I focus on is keeping my feet right underneath my hips. So here, I don't drive the knees out, and I think I'm pushing into the floor, and I don't want my hips to be too high. I don't want it to turn into an RDL. It's a loaded position, and I'm driving from here, and as I'm standing, these knees are pressing back. You see that? The back angle didn't change. My knees go back, creates leverage, and then it's a shift forward, and I jump, right? It's a jump shrug. So, I don't know. Maybe helpful for you. We're gonna go 235 here for a set of 3. I wanna work, I think, at 245 or 255 for 3s today, power cleans. And then we'll go into our med ball slams. Grip. When it comes to doing power work, it's really important that you take rest in between, because the more fatigued you are, the less power you can produce. And if your goal is ultimate power output, you want to be rested in between. You also want to stick with rep schemes that are anywhere from like 1 rep to maybe 5 at the most. Anything after that, you're accumulating too much fatigue, the power output drops. So like power cleans, that's a 3, perfect. These med ball slams, 5, I was going 6 to 8 per side, which might be a little much, but I'm okay with that for that movement there. I know I just contradicted myself, but some movements, yeah, as a whole thing. But then the box jumps, 5 reps, that's perfect. Plenty of rest in between. So just a rule of thumb for you guys to think about when you're training. We're doing weighted box jumps, seated box jumps. I got a 30-pound ruck. We're gonna go from seated to a 30-incher. I've also not warmed up my jump, so, you know, hopefully I don't miss. Ooh. One thing to think about in these med ball slams, these lateral tosses, is as I twist, you want to actually turn your hips too, right? Let me see if I can back this up for you, so you see what I'm talking about. Like, yeah, so as I twist or rotating, I want to twist my hip, and I want to push. So I want to land in this position, and then center, and then drive out of that hip, boom, rotate down. So let that foot pivot, the opposite foot where you're turning. If I'm turning right, that left foot pivots, so on and so forth. Gonna have to call an audible here. I was doing a power clean there and I felt a little something in my back. Happens, guys. Like, that's just the stuff that happens. So fortunately, it's not bad enough to where I'm like, all right, I'm worried about it. It's like a very minor, but something's telling me that I shouldn't do that. So I'm gonna listen and I'm just gonna switch. So I'd like to do some lunges today. I'm gonna try to do some back rack lunges. Just see how it feels. Because what's crazy is oftentimes you'll be surprised. One movement pattern hurts, but another movement pattern doesn't. And you can actually load that pretty heavy, no pain, right? And then that's how you keep the needle moving forward with an injury or a tweak, is like you just figure out how you can move and what you can do, and you just crush that. And then you slowly get back to what you were doing before. The worst thing you can do is just do nothing at all, right? Like, a part of me wants to cancel the session. It's like, F it, whatever. It's just stupid. I'm done. Just go sulk. Like, seriously, that's how I feel inside. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm in too deep. Like, I started working out. I've got to do something. And then I can assess tomorrow and the next day, on and on. And guess what? It's all gonna be okay. Try to go at 185 for a few, just see how it feels. And then hopefully get to go a little heavier. I did 10 on each leg, 185. That was hard. I think I'm gonna stick there, honestly. Maybe just do 4 or 5 sets. That's tough. The superset with RDLs, 10 on each side, the 95. Another thing I'm doing in this little triple set that I didn't talk about yet was power off walkouts. So that's really good for just anti-rotational strength. The movement, as you get further away, obviously it makes it harder. So it's tough to stay in that rigid position. A little bit extra conditioning. Probably one of my favorite core movements is a power off walkout. Last little piece here we're gonna do is some accessory work. I'm gonna do natural knee extensions with a vest and some Nordic curls. 2 sets of 8 to 10 on each. And we're gonna call it a day. Your boy's hurting. I'm already sore. I'm already feeling sore from that, which is good. Goal on those is to get to where I can do those a little bit slower with a little bit more neutral hip and go down and not so much momentum on the way up, like down, hold, drive up, and it looks get a little bit more controlled. That's the goal there. So I'm doing really slow eccentrics, progressively overloading the reps, things like that. Great movement for the hamstrings. Oh my gosh, probably the best movement for your hamstrings and the back of your knees, and just creating so much resiliency. Like, you get good at these, it is extremely unlikely you will ever injure your hamstring. Like, it is very unlikely. Same thing goes with these, where I'm just trying to get really good at keeping a good neutral hip. So my hip's forward, my butt squeezed the whole time, and going all the way down, nice and controlled. This is about as far as I have right now. And then I'm back up. And this extra weight's making it way harder. This is how I'm overloading the movement. Bro. Oh.